Exposed. The unexpected heartwarming truth behind a runaway bride's incredible life-changing plea. Emily stood in the grand church, a blush-inducing burst of white lace encasing her form, her heart racing amid the breathtaking splendor unfolding before her. The pews shimmered with fresh flowers and soft candlelight, creating an atmosphere of pure fairy tale magic. Yet behind her poised smile lurked a storm of panic. Just moments before walking down the aisle to one of the wealthiest families in town, the weight of expectations bore down on her like a heavy fog. As she stared through the stained glass windows reflecting her groom's beaming face, her mind raced. Was this truly the life she wanted? Memories flooded back. Laughter with old friends, the smell of grilled burgers on summer nights, days spent hustling at the local diner, the coziness of her childhood home, filled with modest trinkets yet rich in love. She envisioned her father's rugged, worn face, hardened by silence and the burdens of war. Though they drifted apart, his presence still grounded her. As the wedding music swelled, so did a wave of defiance. Was she ready to trade her roots for jewels and accolades? Just as the choir began to sing, cries for help echoed within her. With one swift movement she fled. Arriving at her childhood home, she winced at the humble brick facade that stood against the setting sun. Inside, it felt warm and inviting, even with its faded wallpaper and mismatched furniture. Memories wrapped around her like an old familiar blanket. She sought solace from her father, a man once full of dreams but now captured in a world of his regrets. As they faced each other in silence, their hearts spoke loud and clear, each seeking understanding. And yet neither quite knew how to bridge the chasm that had grown over years of strained relations. But the moment she entered her old community center filled with echoes of laughter and harmony, something shifted. This was where friendships bloomed and hope thrived. Yet now, its walls were threatened by a cruel city council decision to close it down. As a sense of urgency consumed her, Emily grabbed her old friends and rallied them together under a singular purpose, igniting the embers of long-dormant community spirit. They gathered at the picnic tables, faces bright with determination, voices loud with conviction. Before we continue, I need to let you know about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system, and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, hit that bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can drop a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let's continue. As they united, Emily discovered the aches of her father's past, becoming aware of the sacrifices he made as a soldier, the grief he buried, echoing the struggles of their town. Pain shifted into empowerment as she confronted her fears, determining not just to save a building, but to mend a family scarred by distance. Just when her footing felt secure, reality gripped her heart tightly. A shocking truth about her father's past showed up, shaking her once more. Could she forgive him and, as importantly, find peace in her own choices? As twilight descended, the challenges they faced hung heavy in the air, leaving Emily torn between two worlds, the aspirations that glittered and the love that grounded her. Her spirit felt caught in a whirlwind of uncertainty, and as the town's fate and her family's healing intertwined, she grasped for answers against the backdrop of the fading sun, uncertain of what lay ahead. Would she find the answers she sought? And if so, at what cost? The next morning brought with it a chill in the air that mirrored the storm brewing inside Emily. She woke before the sun, the golden rays still asleep, leaving her room submerged in twilight. Her mind swirled with thoughts. Could she actually go through with the community center revival? Was it worth risking the fragile connection with her father? With an unexpected burst of determination, she slipped into her faded jeans and an old sweatshirt, the fabric a comforting reminder of years spent just being herself. Outside, the world was waking up, birds chirping a gentle hymn as if reassuring her that she wasn't alone. She took a deep breath, reminding herself what truly mattered: the authenticity of her heart. When she stepped into the community center, familiar sense of baking bread and freshly cut flowers enveloped her. It felt alive, buzzing with the possibility of what could be. Old photographs adorned the walls, memories of the vibrant life that had once thrived there. As she moved deeper into the space, She spotted her childhood friends gathered around a table, their faces lit with hope. Laughter bubbled over, washing away the remnants of doubt. "Emily!" shouted Sarah, her closest friend, waving her over. "We've got a plan. And it's going to be epic." Rejuvenated by the camaraderie, Emily felt her energy pulsing like a drumbeat. They spread out a map of the town on the table, marking locations for rallies and gatherings. Ideas flew as freely as their laughter, and Emily could feel her heart sinking with the unmistakable rhythm of community spirit. They were all in this together, and somewhere amid the talk of bake sales and petitions, she realized this was bigger than her father or her own fears. But as they armed themselves with enthusiasm, a nagging worry twisted in her gut. The city council meeting was set for the next week. Would they listen? Would they truly understand the heart of the people? She couldn't shake the vision of the cold, impersonal building they planned to take from the town, stripping away those precious memories and connections. Later that day, Emily made her way to her father's house. The old brick seemed to exhale as she approached, each step invoking a mixture of anxiety and longing. Her father greeted her with cautious eyes, years of distance mirrored in the lines of his face. "You're home early," he said, his voice measuring the space between them. "I need to talk to you about the community center," she said, her heart pounding. "You know they plan on closing it down, right?" His expression shifted, a flicker of recognition passing through the stormy clouds of his demeanor. "I've heard. But you know how these things go. They don't care about what we want. I can't let them do this," she proclaimed, her voice rising. "I want to fight for it, Dad. And I want to fight for us." The silence that followed was thick and suffocating. Emily felt the weight of everything they'd lost start to accumulate in the air between them: the family dinners, the shared laughter, the easy conversations. She wanted a path forward. Yet the shadows of her father's past loomed large, making every word tremble on the edge of her lips. As the truth crackled in the air, she saw her father's jaw tighten, his eyes clouding with memories he'd rather forget. "Sometimes, fighting isn't enough," he finally said, a quiet pain lurking beneath the surface. Emily took a step closer, her determination steadying her voice. "But what if it is? What if we fight together?" In those eyes she searched for something, an answer, a sign, perhaps the final piece to mend their fractured connection. Would his past hinder their future? Or could they reforge the bond that had withered over time? And as their worlds clashed, the uncertainty around them thickened, a question lingering in the air. Could two hearts, once distant, find common ground in the face of such a monumental challenge? Emily left her father's house feeling hollow yet filled with purpose. The door shut behind her, the sound echoing like a reverberation of unspoken histories. Everything inside her felt heavy, a blend of hope and doubt waging war in her heart. She clutched her phone like a lifeline, scrolling through her messages, seeking solace from her friends. As she reached the community center again, she was greeted by the buzz of activity. Volunteers were setting up tables, stringing up festive lights, and filling the air with the aroma of coffee and laughter. It was the lifeblood of the town, a pulse that thrummed in rhythm with Emily's own heart. "Emily!" Sarah called out, breaking her reverie. She waved her over. "You've got to see this." They gathered around a homemade banner that read, "Save Our Community Center." In bold letters, the bright colors promising a sense of unity. Emily's doubts began to fade, replaced by a fierce determination. When she saw the joy in her friend's eyes, it ignited something within her. "We can do this," she said, voice strong and steady. As they worked together, Emily shared her fears about bringing the town together and confronting the council. "What if they don't listen?" she admitted, worry tracing her features. "We'll make them listen," Sarah replied, her unwavering confidence radiating across the table. "We're a family, and they can't ignore us when we stand together." The group brainstormed ideas on how to draw more community members into their cause. A local bake sale, a weekend picnic, maybe even a fun run. Each idea fostered a wave of excitement, infusing the air with a sense of purpose and family. Emily could feel the warmth of their intentions: unity, love, and hope. Yet amid the laughter and planning, Emily's mind drifted back to her father. She couldn't shake the feeling that the more she pushed for the community center, the more detached he seemed to become. She craved his support, his presence. How could she fight for their community if she couldn't even bridge the gap with the man she loved? As the sun dipped low, signaling the end of the day, Emily found a moment of solitude beneath the old oak tree in the center courtyard, the very tree where she had first played as a child. The leaves rustled softly, whispering secrets of the past. She closed her eyes, drawing strength from memories now embellished with emotion, laughter shared with friends, summer festivals, and the first time she had helped organize an event in this very space. Suddenly, Emily felt an overwhelming surge of determination. She pulled out her notebook and began jotting down notes, ideas encapsulating her vision for the revival. Each word poured from her heart like a prayer, connecting her to the little girl she used to be. And from that connection, a plan began to take shape, one that would also reach out to her father. Returning home that evening, she resolved to invite him to their next meeting. Perhaps it was time for both of them to confront the past to heal. The biggest challenge loomed ahead, and her heart raced thinking about it. What if he rejected her invitation? The fear held her tighter than ever. Yet deep down, she felt a flicker of hope that their shared love for the community might be the bridge they needed. Tomorrow would be vital. The meeting at the council was just days away. If they wanted to save the community center, and perhaps rebuild their relationship, she had to find the words to break through years of silence. As she lay in bed, the path ahead seemed uncertain, twisting and turning into the unknown. But she had made up her mind. She would fight. And somewhere in the remnants of the night, her thoughts lingered on one question. Could love and hope be the key to open the door that had remained locked for far too long? Emily woke to the sound of birds chirping outside her window, the sun spilling eager light across her bedroom. Today felt different, charged with purpose. As she rose, her mind raced with thoughts of the upcoming meeting. She pictured her father's face, stoic, unyielding, but today, she felt ready to confront him. After a quick breakfast that barely registered, she grabbed her notebook and headed out. The community center buzzed with energy as volunteers flocked in, excited for what lay ahead. The sight lit a fire in her belly. Emily beamed as she joined Sarah and the others, her worries momentarily pushed aside by the warmth of camaraderie. "Hey Emily." Sarah caught her eye, excited. "Guess what? We have a surprise." Emily tilted her head. "What kind of surprise?" "I got Mrs. Thompson from the bakery to donate a ton of goodies for the bake sale. And Thomas' dad is bringing his grill for the picnic." Sarah couldn't contain her enthusiasm. They grouped around a table, each idea sparking excitement. Laughter floated like a melody through the air, soothing Emily's anxious heart. Yet beneath her smile, doubt lingered. Would it be enough? With each plan, the clock ticked closer to the council meeting, and she felt a heavy chasm between her and her father widening. "Hey, you okay?" Sarah asked, glancing at Emily, her brow furrowed. "Yeah, Emily hesitated, her voice barely a whisper. "I'm thinking about inviting my dad to come this time." Sarah's eyes lit up. "That's a fantastic idea. He might surprise you. Or maybe it'll just make things worse." The weight on Emily's chest threatened to steal her joy. "Listen," Sarah replied, her tone gentle. "You're doing this for the community too, right? You might be surprised at how he responds." Emily nodded, a spark of hope igniting. If her father truly loved this town, maybe he would stand beside her. As the day went on, a sense of unity blossomed around her. They prepared supplies, setting the stage for what felt like a community reunion. Emily felt the pulse of life, the connection coursing through every volunteer present. Beneath the radiant sky, she took a moment to reflect, gratitude swelling within her, but worry soon returned. How would she bring this up with her dad? It felt like standing on the precipice of a great leap. What if he turned her down? The sun began to dip on the horizon, casting long shadows across the center as she gathered the courage to text her father. "Dad, I know we haven't talked in a while, but I really want you to come to the meeting at the council. It's important to me. Please." Her heart raced with each second that passed, time stretching painfully in silence. Just as self-doubt threatened to overwhelm her, a reply pinged on her screen. "I'll think about it." Relief washed over her but mingled with a twinge of frustration. "Think about it? That wasn't a yes. Is he coming?" Sarah leaned over, curiosity painted on her face. "I don't know. He said he'd think about it," Emily replied, her voice clipped. A comforting hand rested on her shoulder. "You've put your heart on the line," Sarah said quietly. "The rest will follow." Later that evening, Emily found herself unable to sleep. She paced her bedroom, replaying the conversation in her mind. If her dad came, it could change everything. He might finally see how much the community center meant to her, and how it could heal their connection. Tossing and turning in bed, she could hear echoes of past arguments, misunderstandings between father and daughter. The remedy slipped through her fingers. Finally, she made a decision. She would be ready when he responded. This was about more than the center. It was about forging a path to something new. The sun would rise again, and with it, the council meeting. It might hold the key to all that she craved. And as she closed her eyes, one lingering thought drifted into her mind. What would happen if she truly opened her heart not just to her father but to the community they both loved? Emily woke, her heart still heavy with the uncertainty of the night before. The early morning light streamed through her window like a spotlight, illuminating the chaos of her room, clothes strewn on the floor, notebooks piled high on her desk, remnants of an evening spent in turmoil. But today she had a purpose. Today was the council meeting, and she had to be ready, not just for the presentation but also for her father's potential arrival. After a quick shower, she dressed in her favorite jeans and a soft, blue sweater that felt like a warm hug. Standing in front of the mirror, she took a deep breath. Maybe she could face her father, maybe she could finally bridge the gap. Arriving at the community center, Emily noticed the air was different today. There was a palpable excitement swirling around as volunteers set up tables and organized supplies. She could see Sarah hanging colorful banners, and it made her smile to witness the vibrations of vibrancy and passion. "Hey, you look ready," Sarah called out, her cheeks flushed from enthusiasm. "Thanks. I'm trying," Emily said, her stomach flip-flopping with nerves. "Let us focus on spreading the love today, okay? No dwelling on what might happen," Sarah encouraged, looping her arm around Emily's shoulders. Right before the meeting started, Emily stood at the front of the center, her heart racing. She looked out over the crowd, friends, neighbors, families gathered together. And then she spotted him. Her father stood at the back, looking out of place, arms crossed against his chest. Just the sight of him sent a whirl of emotions spiraling through her. It would have been easier for her to assume it was out of obligation that he showed up, but she needed to believe it was something deeper. With a shaky breath, she approached the front, her heart pulsing in rhythm with her steps. As she took the podium, she caught her father's gaze and felt a strange warmth wash over her. "Thank you all for being here today," she began, her voice steady yet it trembled with unspoken emotions. "Today is not just about our community center, but about all of us coming together and creating lasting connections." She spoke passionately, sharing stories of community triumph, of how they had banded together through hardships, how they had laughed, cried, and fought for something they believed in. Each word poured out, fueled by the hope that her father would hear her, understand her. As the meeting progressed, she could see her father's expression shifting. His arms slowly relaxed at his sides, and he leaned forward listening. It stirred something inside her, the warmth of possibility, the flicker of a bridge that might finally begin to form. When the meeting ended, applause erupted, and Emily felt a surge of pride. "Let us celebrate our hard work with the bake sale," someone shouted, and cheers filled the space. But Emily's focus was solely on her father, making her way through the crowd toward him. "Dad," she called softly, nervousness creeping back. Did you enjoy it?" He looked down for a moment, then met her gaze. "I did. It was impressive, Emily. I didn't know this meant so much to you." Relief intertwined with new apprehensions. "It does. And I need you to understand it's not just about the center. It's about reconnecting, too." Her father studied her, brows furrowed in thought. "I've been hard on you," he began, his voice thick with emotion. "I didn't see what this meant to you. I want to listen. Can we talk?" Hope ignited in Emily. Of course. They moved outside, where the sun hung low in the sky, illuminating everything in gold. At that moment, she felt the beauty of a fresh start, a chance to build something new. But as they stepped further away from the crowd, she couldn't shake one thought that lurked in her mind. Could this be the moment she had been waiting for? Or was it just the beginning of another misunderstanding? With her heart pounding, Emily prepared to face whatever truth lay ahead. What would they uncover in their conversation that could change everything? Emily took a breath as they stepped outside, leaving the chatter from the meeting behind. The world seemed different here, the colors a little brighter, the air a little fresher. Yet, the tension twisted in her chest, a reminder of all the unspoken words between her and her father. "Let us sit over there," he said, nodding towards a bench under a sprawling oak tree. They walked in silence, the crunch of gravel beneath their feet filling the space where words should be. Once seated, they faced each other, the weight of everything unaddressed hanging heavy in the air. Emily fidgeted with her hands, her dad scanning the ground like it held the secrets he needed. "Listen," he finally started, his voice a mix of determination and uncertainty. "I know I haven't been the dad you needed. I've been stuck in my head, worried about work," and he paused, his eyes clouding with frustration. "I never thought about how my actions made you feel. I wanted you to be there for me," Emily replied, emotion thick in her throat. "Not just in a physical sense, but really there. Like when I needed help with my projects, or when my friends were dealing with their families. I felt so alone." Her father's brows knitted tighter, and for a moment he seemed to shrink, weighed down by the regret of missed moments. "I should recognize that. I let my own burdens keep me away from you." There was a tremor in his voice. Emily studied him closely, searching for evidence of change, longing for a glimpse of the father she remembered from her childhood, someone who would throw her into the air at the park, laughter bubbling between them. "I want to understand you better," he continued, his gaze now locked onto hers with a fierceness that stirred hope. "You're growing up, Emily. This isn't just about the center, is it? What else do you want from me?" Tears pricked at the corners of her eyes, and she wrapped her arms around herself, grounding herself in the moment. "I want to feel like I matter to you. I want you to be proud of me, not because of what I accomplish, but for who I am, for my heart, my dreams." He closed his eyes as if absorbing her words, the silence heavy with realization. "I've missed so much, haven't I? I've been proud without ever showing it. I'm sorry, Emily." The warmth inside her began to thaw the heaviness. "It's okay, Dad. It's been tough." As they began to speak more freely, the conversation flowed. They shared laughter, moments of vulnerability, and even a few tears. For every question, there came a response. Every silence turned into a rhythm, almost a dance of reconnection. Eventually, her father leaned back, a small smile playing on his lips. "You've grown up to be someone fantastic, and I want to be part of your life moving forward. Whatever you need, just tell me." Emily felt a rush of gratitude as hope blossomed anew. "Can we start with just being around each other more? Simple things like game nights or coffee." "I would like that," he replied, the sincerity in his voice filling the spaces that once felt empty. As the shadows stretched long and the sun dipped lower, reality sunk in. This was a beginning, but it was also a call to action. They'd opened the door to something real and raw. But life always had a way of complicating things. Then Emily's phone buzzed, breaking the moment. She glanced down at the screen and her heart sank. The message was from Sarah. "Everything okay? We need you here right now." She looked back at her father, uncertainty creeping in again. "I have to go," he urged gently. "I'll be here when you get back." With each step away, Emily felt both excited and anxious. She turned, taking in the soft smile on her father's face, a reminder of what could be. But as she moved toward the community center, gnawing questions flooded her mind. What was waiting for her back there? Would they be able to sustain this newfound connection? And then another thought struck her: was she truly ready to open her life to the possibility of change, both with her father and in her own heart? As she pushed open the door, ready to face whatever news awaited her, a whisper of uncertainty lingered. What if this was only the surface of a much deeper struggle they had yet to unveil? The moment Emily stepped inside the community center, the air buzzed with anxiety. Voices were raised, laughter was sparse, and the urgent energy was palpable. She scanned the room, searching for Sarah, hoping to see her friend's familiar face, which often brought comfort. The chaos was a stark contrast to the calm she had just left outside with her father. "Emily, over here." A hand waved from the back corner, and she breathed a sigh of relief as she rushed toward Sarah and their small group of friends huddled around a table strewn with papers and cups of hastily made coffee. "What's going on?" she asked, concern tinting her voice as she slid into a chair. Sarah's face was drawn, eyes wide with worry. "It's the fundraiser planning for the youth center. We're completely overwhelmed. The event is next week, and we're behind on everything. I know you just had that talk with your dad, but we need your input on the decorations and the food." Emily nodded. "Of course. I'm here to help. What's the plan so far?" Her heart raced, not just from the whirlwind of activity, but also from the echo of her father's words still lingering in her mind. She wanted to embrace this new connection they were beginning to forge, but right now, she felt unmoored. As they dived into discussions, she tried to focus, jotting down ideas, brainstorming themes, and trying to keep the bubbling anxiety at bay. Yet each laugh shared with her friends felt bittersweet. She thought of the lightness she had felt with her dad moments before, and the heaviness of expectation seemed to weigh down on her again. Could she juggle this new relationship with her father alongside her commitments to her friends? "Hey, Sarah's voice cut through her thoughts. "You okay? You seem a little out of it." "Huh. Yeah, me fine. Just a lot on my mind," Emily replied, forcing a smile that didn't quite reach her eyes. "Look, if you're dealing with something, we're here for you. It doesn't always have to be about the fundraiser. We're friends first, right?" Sarah prompted, her tone gentle yet firm. Emily swallowed back the tears that threatened to spill. "Thanks, Sarah. It's just my dad and I are trying to figure things out. I want to move forward with him, but it feels so complicated. Take it one step at a time. You're doing amazing juggling all of this." Sarah's reassurance wrapped around her, and Emily nodded, trying to absorb the warmth in her friend's words. They spent hours planning, laughter bubbling more freely as they crafted ideas together. Slowly, Emily began to feel a sense of purpose come back. She watched as ideas sparked joy in Sarah's eyes, the same joy that she hoped to find with her father. Yet, even amidst the laughter and banter, tugging at the back of her mind was a gnawing thought. Would she be able to keep her promise to her dad while maintaining these connections? As Emily looked around at her friends, their smiling faces were a blend of warmth and wonder, made fuller by shared goals and dreams. Just then, another message buzzed on her phone, this time from her father. "Take your time with your friends. I'll be here, waiting to hear all about it." Those simple words filled her with a mix of reassurance and dread. It was a reminder of what was at stake, the fragile thread of trust they were weaving. As she contemplated the ties of friendship alongside the intricate thread of family bonds, she couldn't shake the feeling that something deeper loomed, just out of reach. Was she truly prepared for what lay ahead? Or was she about to open Pandora's box of emotions she had kept at bay? The uncertainty of her path ahead lurked like a shadow, whispering questions as she gathered with her friends, ready to tackle the challenges of the fundraiser. Yet in the depths of her heart another thought flickered. What if the realities of both worlds clashed in ways she couldn't anticipate? As the evening wore on at the community center, Emily felt the energy of her friends wrapping around her. They pored over spreadsheets, maps of the venue, and lists of supplies in an effort to transform her anxiety into creativity. The laughter was genuine, a sweet balm for her troubled thoughts. Yet the echo of her father's message lingered in her mind, refusing to let her fully enjoy the moment. "Okay, everyone, ideas for food," Sarah announced, waving her pen like a conductor's baton. "Let's make this a feast they'll remember." Emily joined the discussion, her mind drifting in and out as she suggested half-heartedly. "Maybe tacos? They're fun and easy to set up." "Tacos sound great," someone chimed, and a flurry of chatter erupted as they brainstormed toppings and sauces. Yet, all Emily could think about was her growing commitment to her father. He was really trying to reach her. The weight of her decision loomed large. Was accepting this new chapter with him worth the risks of losing her friend's support? In the midst of her swirling thoughts, Emily's phone buzzed again. This time it was a picture from her dad, taken at their favorite diner, with vibrant blue plates filled with pancakes. He'd written, "Don't forget to eat tonight. Missing our brunch talk." She swallowed hard, a rush of warmth and guilt flooding her. She remembered their little ritual on Sunday mornings, the comfort of syrupy pancakes and laughter. But those quiet moments felt distant, washed away by the tidal wave of emotions she was navigating. Emily, focus. Sarah's voice pulled her back to the present. What do you think about creating a dessert table? A little DIY magic? Sounds perfect, Emily replied, a surge of enthusiasm trickling in. We can have cupcakes and maybe a candy bar. Kids love that. As they talked, the room brightened. Even Emily's unease began to lift momentarily. They sketched ideas, each person contributing little bits of themselves into the project. Creativity sprouted around her, and she was almost grateful for the distractions, even though a persistent thread of tension remained woven into her thoughts. Hours later, the conversation turned toward the emotional aspect of the event, where Sarah bravely shared how her parents had thrown a party when she graduated. It was the best day of my life, honestly, she confessed, a radiant smile lighting her face. Everyone who meant something to me was there. Emily felt a pang of longing. I hope it's that meaningful for everyone, she murmured. Suddenly the room fell quiet, and she caught her friends looking at her. What? Just? Sarah hesitated. You seem really invested in making this perfect, like it matters more than just a fundraiser. Yeah, it's for the kids and everyone who needs this place, Emily replied, but she knew it was more personal than that. It was about connection, about trying to balance her past with her present. Sensing the unspoken weight in the air, Sarah leaned in closer. Is there something more to it, Em? You don't have to keep it bottled up. For a split second, Emily considered sharing everything, the lingering fear of her father's support, the tug-of-war in her heart, and the anxiety of diving deep into this new familial relationship. But then doubt clouded her thoughts. Would they understand the depth of her struggle? Just trying to figure it all out, she finally said quietly, forcing a smile that felt stretched and thin. Just then, a loud crash echoed from the back of the room, jolting everyone from their moment of intimacy. Chairs toppled, and a few friends stumbled backward as someone knocked over a stack of boxes. Laughter followed, breaking the tension. But Emily felt far from laughter. She felt an impending sense of chaos, unpredictable and raw. As they all bent down to pick things up, Emily caught a glimpse of her phone again. Another message from her dad. Her heart raced. What would those words bring next? In that moment, surrounded by her friends and the noise of implications and laughter, she realized she stood at a crossroads. One path led to the familiarity of her friends, safety and shared moments, while the other stretched towards her father, filled with uncertainty and hope. What would her choice mean? Would she truly be able to embrace her family, while holding on to the friendship she cherished? Emily took a deep breath. The next chapter of her life was waiting. Would it pave the way toward healing, or unravel the delicate threads she was still trying to weave together? The laughter faded as quickly as it had come, leaving behind a lingering silence that draped heavily over the community center. Emily could feel the weight of her friends' gazes, each one a reminder that she was at a point of no return. The unease in her heart battled against the glimmer of excitement that trickled in from their collaborative energy. She looked down at her phone. No new messages. Just a ping of guilt. Hey, everything okay? Sarah asked, breaking through the fog that had settled around her. Yeah, just thinking, Emily replied, her words tumbling out without much thought. She tried to keep her expression neutral, but the tension was thick enough for anyone to slice through. Sarah's concern was palpable. What's on your mind? It was more than just curiosity. It was concern, like a compassionate weight pressing down on Emily's chest. Taking a deep breath, Emily could feel the barrier she had built around her heart teetering. It feels bigger than what we're doing here, you know? Like I'm torn between two worlds. Before she could continue, another message chimed in, this time a video. Her father's smiling face filled the screen, and a familiar surge of yearning crashed over her. He spoke about community and connection, sharing a story from when he was a kid about the importance of friends and family. His voice softened at the end. I can't wait to see you, Em. Let us grab those pancakes soon, okay? Her heart twisted. It was bittersweet. She missed him. No matter the circumstances, she wanted that bond. But could she reach for it without losing the bonds she had forged with her friends? Sarah's voice broke through her reverie. The concern etched into her friend's brow only deepened Emily's internal conflict. I'm sorry. Just my dad. He's trying to reconnect, and part of me is scared, she admitted, the heaviness in her chest lifting slightly as she made the confession. What if I embrace that and lose us? Sarah finished, her tone gentle but firm. Emily nodded, feeling tears prickle the corners of her eyes. I don't want to alienate the people who mean so much to me. But I also can't pretend I don't want to know him either, it just feels impossible. Around the room, her friends offered nods of understanding. They had their own stories, their own fears and complexities. It was a shared moment of vulnerability, a reminder that everyone wrestled with their relationships in different ways. That's what makes you human, Cal chimed in, leaning against the wall. It's okay to have conflicting feelings. Just be honest with us. We'll stand by you. Whatever you choose. His sincerity settled in her heart like a soft comfort. Maybe it was possible to welcome both sides. She didn't have to pick one world over the other, did she? Yeah, you can have a place with both, Sarah added, her eyes shining with support. We just want you to be happy. That's what matters most. The words infused a new sense of hope. Maybe they could handle her embracing her father without letting go of their friendship. But just when the glimmer of reassurance began to settle over her, a familiar pang of doubt crept back in. Would they still feel the same if things got messy? The chatter resumed, but Emily felt charged with a new intensity. She toyed with the possibilities her father's presence would bring. Pancakes, laughter, the flickering memories of her childhood. Yet that steadfast thread of anxiety knotted in her stomach. Would actually knowing him change who she was? As the laughter bubbled again, Emily's phone buzzed one more time. This time she hesitated, staring at the screen as fear gripped her. What if it was a call from him? What would she say? In that moment, all her thoughts collided in a dizzying rush. Life was about to take an unexpected turn, and she wasn't sure if she was ready. With her heart pounding, she pressed play on the message before her. The weight of her choices flooding her senses like an unyielding tide. What would she hear next? And how would she respond? As the video flickered to life, a new chapter drew near, dripping with possibilities and uncertainties. Emily's heart raced as the video played, her father's warm voice washing over her like sunshine breaking through dark clouds. I remember the day you were born, Emily, he began, and she felt the tears welling up, a floodgate of emotions threatening to spill. The moment I held you, I knew you were going to change my life forever. She shut her eyes for a fleeting moment, enveloped by his words. It was a side of him she hadn't seen in years, the proud, tender father, yet the memory was drenched in time lost and opportunities missed. I want to be part of your life again. I just miss you, sweetheart. As he spoke, the background faded, and she felt transported back. She could almost hear the laughter that once filled their shared moments. Each word was like a lifeline, beckoning her to remember not just the past pains, but the love buried beneath it all. Gazing at her friends around the table, she saw their faces light up as they shared their stories about their families. They were there, rallying around her like the steadfast support they'd always been. Her pulse steadied. She was tired of living in fear of the unknown, tired of choosing between who to hold close. Maybe this was it, the moment where she could embrace both worlds. Emily, Sarah's voice broke through, pulling her back to reality. What did he say? Tears fell free, and she smiled through them, looking from Sarah to Kyle and the rest of her friends. He wants to reconnect, be a part of my life. Relief mixed with apprehension, and she wiped her eyes. He really wants to try. But I'm scared. You can do this, Sarah assured, squeezing her hand. You're already showing that love wins, even in tough situations. Emily took a deep breath, considering their words. Standing at the crossroads of past failures and hopeful beginnings, she nodded. You're right. I need to embrace both my father and my friends. I want to invite him into this world, so he can see how amazing it is, how much it matters. With newfound strength, she addressed her friends. Would you all support me if I invited him to our next gathering? Of course. They interjected in unison, enthusiasm spreading like wildfire. The anticipation surged in Emily's chest, mixing hope with determination. As the laughter resumed and their plans for the event dove deeper, she felt walls crumbling. leaving room for connection even when fear stirred beneath the surface. Days passed, transforming into vibrant, bustling preparations for the community fundraiser. Emily flitted between ideas for the event and conversations with her father, stringing together moments that had once seemed impossible. He shared his thoughts and memories, and she held her breath with each revelation. The distance between them began to shrink. Then, as they set up tables and hung colorful banners beneath the late afternoon sun, her phone buzzed. It was a message from her father. "Can I meet you early tomorrow? I want to help with the setup." Her heart raced. "Yes," she typed back, excitement bubbling up. She could hardly wait for the shared experience. "Emily, are you ready for tomorrow?" Sarah asked as they lined up cupcakes. "You seem different today." "I think I am," she said. A radiant smile spread across her face. "I feel lighter, like I've taken a step toward something great. I'm ready to bridge the gap." The next day came quickly, vivid with anticipation and warmth. When her father arrived, his nervousness matched her own. Yet, as they set up together, the atmosphere transformed. Each laugh became a memory, each shared glance a promise. "Pancakes tomorrow?" Emily asked, and he grinned, momentarily transformed into that little girl's father shining through the cracks. "Absolutely. I wouldn't miss it," he replied, his sincerity wrapping around her heart like a warm blanket. Throughout the day, their laughter melded with those of her friends, creating a beautiful tapestry of community. Emily felt a renewed energy around her, as if their collective hope wove into the very fabric of the event itself. The fundraiser blossomed, every hand joining in the joy of togetherness. When the time came to present their efforts, Emily stood before the crowd, her father beside her for support, a living testament to their hard work and newfound connection. "Thank you all for being here," she began, her voice steady and vibrant. "Today is about more than just this community center. It's about the heart we share, the love that binds us all together." Applause resonated throughout the room as she glanced back at her father, their eyes locking in a moment of unity. In that instant, something shifted. Emily understood that love wasn't just about mending what was broken, it was about building and nurturing bonds, both old and new. As the fundraiser blossomed into a lively celebration, she giggled with friends, exchanged stories with her father, and watched the community come alive. She felt whole, entwined in the laughter and light that filled the air. And that's when it struck her. This was the beauty of transformation, finding hope and love even when it felt impossible. As the sun set, casting hues of gold and orange through the windows, she knew this was just the beginning. Tomorrow would be filled with pancakes, conversations about their past, and exploring the future together. And she smiled, knowing that what seemed daunting just weeks ago was slowly being knitted together into something remarkable, a tale of healing, connection, family, and friendship. This was the moment she had longed for, and it was just the beginning of their story. Now, it's time for you to dive deeper into this journey. Subscribe immediately to the channel to not miss the next exclusive stories that will inspire and uplift you. Leave a like now to feed the algorithm and help others find this incredible journey. Comment your reactions and feelings about this ending. What does it mean to you? And don't wait not even one more second to share this video with at least 5 friends who need to see this transformation. You need to show your support. Every little action counts in making this community stronger.